Shortly, the presiding officer, accompanied by the academic procession, will enter the graduation hall. Once they've taken their position on stage, Advance Australia Fair will be played, and we invite you to join in the singing of the national anthem. Would you please stand for the academic procession?
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Mr. Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country.
Thank you. Orami Miriga and Nalawa. Hello and welcome to the lands of the Wallamedigal. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to firstly pay my respects to the country and its people, and to thank the university for their acknowledgement of us and the invitation to welcome you here this afternoon. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated. My family, in fact, descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and clever man of the Burrabrongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. And so he enrolled his daughter, Bulungari, or Maria, into the Native Institute, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. Maria studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where the present-day city of Blacktown gets its name. We're very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here today. And with good reason. Your success is our success. Your advancement, our advancement. Now that was probably better understood in more traditional times when camp groups were smaller and clans abided by strict sharing laws, which meant that the food that you caught and brought back was distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortune were thus enjoyed by all. Your efforts literally nourished the rest of the community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we work together. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly lived well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a model or a benchmark on how good to expect our lives today. You see, when Captain Cook arrived here almost 250 years ago, he described the people he encountered as one of the happiest people he'd ever met. They owned nothing but the tools they carried, made their shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and harvested food from the earth without excessive tilling or clearing. Now, these were not primitive societies, these were ancient cultures. So there was no slavery, no armies, no rich and poor, no rents or mortgages, and no homelessness. People cooperated to collect the resources that were needed, which were then shared out according to Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained with fire and responsible harvesting. Our rivers and waterways kept clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. So this is not an ideal or a dream. This is normal life for us, and for the longest time, and not too long ago either. And there is no reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us, but we're a clever people, and there is still much magic in the world, I believe. So graduates, I would say expect great and wonderful things from your life. Demand it. Life is good, and we are meant to be happy. So share your gifts with the rest of us, and keep following that beautiful spirit within you that got you this far. Do this, and I'm confident that together we can create a country and a world that we can be proud of, and a future that is worthy of our children. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine now by winding up and letting you graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of you, and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you, and welcome to country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce the Vice-Chancellor of Macquarie University, Professor Bruce Doughton, who'll be presiding at today's ceremony.
Well, thank you, Chris Tobin, again for your very warm and informative welcome to your country. I very much appreciate you being here for graduation this afternoon. Thank you again. Well, colleagues, guests, families and friends of our graduands, and most importantly, the graduating class yourselves. It is my distinct honour and pleasure to welcome you all here to this graduation ceremony, and I bring our graduands and your guests the particular greetings of the members of the University's Governing Council and the Chancellor, who is unable to be here this afternoon. I hope this will be a very happy and memorable occasion for you all. I did see as I came in today quite a number of small children and even a couple of babies, and I want to make everyone see my view that all celebrations that have children involved are better celebrations. Now, unless I checked and was wrong, the expectation that a youngster might stay still or stay quiet for an hour and a half or an hour and 3/4 of a graduation, or a baby may not want to cry, I think I might have it wrong. But if they do, don't worry about it. They're very welcome to be here, and as I say, I believe that all celebrations are enhanced by the presence of children. I'm a paediatrician by professional background. I've heard far worse screaming in my consulting rooms, I can promise you. If the Chancellor were here as a retired senior politician, having served for decades in the New South Wales Parliament, he would say he's heard far more rancour in the House of Parliament than any room this size of small children could possibly create. So children, go for it. Have a great time, enjoy yourselves. This is a celebration, so really enjoy yourselves. Today we're about to celebrate the wonderful achievements of those of you about to graduate. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind, determination and perseverance, and you make many sacrifices along the way as well. You've all worked very hard to get to this point today, and you should feel rightly very proud of what you have accomplished. We at the university are just as proud of those accomplishments, and I'm pleased to be able to greet you all personally today and congratulate you as you receive your testaments. I also want to especially welcome the families and supporters, friends of our graduands here with us as their invited guests, on my left and down the back. The fact that you've been invited by one of our graduands to share in one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you have had a very important influence on their transit through the university. And so to our invited guests, my congratulations to you and thank you for joining in this wonderful celebration. We in fact have guests from many parts of Australia and from far away in the world here today as well. I want to particularly single out that we have the parents of one of our PhD graduates here today, Ms. Javit Hernandez-Perez, whose father has travelled from Cuba and her mother is here from Miami in the United States. So a warm welcome to those wonderful folks who've come to this graduation, and to any of you who've come from near and far. Please feel very welcome at Macquarie University. Now, graduands, you may not realise it, but you are about to participate in one of Europe's oldest social rituals. If you were to pick a date, say 1500 AD, and look back and see what social institutions existed back then that still exist today, if you leave aside the Roman Catholic Church, the parliaments of England, Iceland, and the Isle of Man, and 6 Swiss cantons or local government areas, the rest are all universities. Universities are very old organisations in history. In fact, graduation ceremonies are even older than that. For almost 800 years, graduates have been donning gowns just like the ones you are wearing today and participating in ceremonies just like this ceremony. And since those earliest graduations, the ceremony has remained largely unchanged, a defining feature of the life of most Western universities and of student life in the university. We all realise, of course, that Macquarie University is not one of those ancient universities, as we are just over 50 years old. Though we are among the youngest universities in the world, we're very proud to take part in this time-honoured ceremony here today. Youth does have its advantages, however, ladies and gentlemen. Macquarie is a very modern and outward-looking university. We are regarded as one of Australia's leading research-intensive universities and are continually progressing by extending our research, our course offerings, and improving our facilities. We now have more than 190,000 graduates living in more than 140 countries around the globe. It's very clear that we are a forward-looking institution and that we are on the move. However, some of the things that I believe we value so much in history of this university's short life, I hope will never change. Over my 6 and a bit years in the role as Vice-Chancellor, I've had many visitors to the university note the friendliness of our staff and our students. I anticipate that will always be so, and remember, graduands, you will always be very welcome back at Macquarie University. We take our name as a university from Australia's, in my view, greatest colonial governor, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, a man whose greatness and achievements were never really acknowledged by his contemporaries but only with the passage of time and history. Those of us educated in New South Wales learned that Macquarie was a great builder, and certainly that is true. If you look around downtown Sydney or some of the outskirts of Sydney, wonderful buildings that were designed and built on Governor Macquarie's watch. I believe, however, that his greatest legacy had nothing to do with bricks and mortar, but rather it was the ethos that he established, much, I would say, to the annoyance of the British authorities at the time, of an egalitarian society. Because it was Macquarie's insistence that in this fledgling convict colony, there be no distinction between the free man and the freed man. So if you had come to the colony as a convict and served your time, you were to be treated exactly the same as a free settler who had arrived, either of his own volition or as a part of the garrison who stayed on. And that is what we believe is the foundation of the Australian notion of a fair go for everyone. And certainly that is the legacy that here at Macquarie University we will always aim to maintain and honour. Now, notwithstanding Macquarie's greatness, it is fair to acknowledge that some of his actions would not pass muster today. Removing Aboriginal children from their families, even for the purpose of their own education, would certainly not be tolerated today. I wonder how many things we accept today that we will look back on one day with a sense of shame. One of the attributes that I hope Macquarie University will impart to all of our students is the capacity always for moral and ethical reflection, and a yearning always to help right the wrongs, not just of the past, but also of our own time. Macquarie University will always be a leader in teaching and learning, and a leader in the accumulation of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. Ladies and gentlemen, my academic and professional colleagues, and most importantly, our graduands, I offer you the warmest of welcomes to Macquarie University on this grand occasion. And in just a few moments, it will be my very great honour to confer upon our graduands your degrees and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. It is also our pleasure at today's ceremony to honour, in accordance with the resolution of the University's Governing Council, Professor James Patrick AO for admission to the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa of Macquarie University. I now invite Professor Saki Pretorius, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, to please read the citation. Professor Pretorius.
Professor James Patrick AO is a world authority on cochlear implants and one of the engineers who pioneered the hearing device. Professor Patrick was a member of Professor James Clark's original cochlear implant research team at the University of Melbourne, where between 1975 and 1981, the world's first multi-channel cochlear implant was invented. He co-authored many publications with Clark and was named as a co-inventor on 6 patents. In 1981, after the first successful human implant, studies work concluded. He came to Sydney as a key member of the team devoted to developing a clinically applicable cochlear implant. He was responsible for systems, engineering, and the digital aspects of the implantable stimulator, playing a leadership role in the development of the commercial medical implant. Professor Patrick was a founding member of Cochlear Limited and held senior technical management positions in the company from 1981 to 2016 as Head of Research Development, Quality and Manufacturing, worldwide oversight of its global research program, and as Senior Vice President and Chief Scientist. He is now the Cochlear Chief Scientist Emeritus. In 2015, Professor Patrick was appointed as an Officer of the Order of Australia for distinguished service to science through the development of the cochlear implant to medical research, biomedical research and engineering innovation, and to education and professional associations. The Audiology Centre at the Royal Institute for Deaf and Blind Children is named in his honour, and Professor Patrick's many accolades include the Australian Academy of Technology and Engineering, Cluny's Ross Lifetime Achievement Award in 2015 for the application of science and technology for the benefit of Australia. In 2017, the American Academy of Audiology awarded him the Samuel F. Labridger Award for the achievements in industry. Professor Patrick championed the co-location of the country's leading hearing research and healthcare organisations with Macquarie University's researchers and clinics in the Australian Hearing Hub, and has been a strong advocate for the benefits and potential of the hub. He was an adjunct professor in this university's Department of Linguistics from 2013 to 2017, and has always been generous with his time and expertise in support of the many research projects conducted in the hub since Cochlear moved to the Macquarie campus. Vice-Chancellor, it is with great pleasure that I present to you Professor James Patrick AO for the award of Doctor of Science, honoris causa, in recognition of his distinguished contribution over many years to hearing health in Australia and around the world.
Professor James Patrick AO, in the assembled company of the academic procession, the graduands, their families and friends, along with senior executives of the Cochlear Company, the Royal Institute for Deaf and Blind Children, and the Rennick Centre, in the name of the University Council and by my authority delegated from the Council as Vice-Chancellor, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa. I now invite Professor Jim Patrick to deliver the occasional address.
Thank you, Saki. Good afternoon, Vice-Chancellor, members of faculty, distinguished guests, graduands, and your family and friends. First, thank you very much, Saki, for that. I'm going to be a little bit repetitive here, but I'll be going over my history and see what we can learn from it today. This degree is a great honour, and I thank the university for it. I've been asked to say a few words about my career to give some insights to the graduands today, to give you some information that you may find useful. I was interested from when I was quite young, around 10 years old, in using simple electronic circuits known as crystal sets to receive radio signals. My father happened to be in the military, and as a signals officer, I had some help from him. But this evolved into a continuing, very practical interest in amateur or ham radio, designing and building transmitters and receivers. So for my BSc at the University of Melbourne, I studied science and included as well some engineering subjects. I then completed my MSc at the University of Melbourne with research into digital data transmission. And I was very close to completing my PhD in this area when I learned of work being carried out in the medical faculty led by Professor Graham Clark. Now, his team was conducting research with the objective of giving hearing to people who were profoundly deaf. Now, at that time, people who were experts in the field of hearing were very, very critical of anyone who thought they could give hearing with electrical stimulation of the auditory nerve. I mean, the auditory system is so sophisticated that you might give them some sensations of sound, but you'd never give them the ability to understand speech, for example. So the auditory system was just too complicated. I was, however, quite intrigued by the idea, by the potential benefit that such a device might offer, and so I applied for a job with Professor Clark. At the end of my interview, I asked him, "Do you think it'll work?" And my recollection of the answer was, "I don't know." But he told me later that he added, "But if it does, you might get a job." So I then joined Professor Clark's wonderful multidisciplinary team, and I led the construction of our first multi-channel cochlear implant. This was implanted in our first research subject, Rod Saunders, in 1978. Now, Rod had lost all his hearing overnight after a road accident, and he'd tried for 6 months to lip read his family, his 3 teenage children and his wife, and he just could not lip read. So he offered himself as a volunteer, first subject. After months of research, we developed a speech coding strategy in which the electrical stimuli encoded features of the speech signal which you couldn't see on the face of the speaker. Now, this information transformed Rod's lip reading from being truly terrible to where he hardly missed a word. It was just extraordinary how much you could transmit with this electrical stimulation. Now, Graham used a video of one of Rod's test sessions to illustrate the benefit of the cochlear implant to many people trying to get support for the commercialisation of this novel treatment for deafness. But no one was interested. It was just too risky. Luckily, at the time, the Australian government had just established in the Department of Productivity financial support for projects that were seen as in the public interest. And this led to government funding of the Australian medical device company Nucleus in Sydney to develop a commercial version of the cochlear implant that they could then market around the world. Well, I was offered a job with Nucleus. I would need to leave the university and move to Sydney. Several of my colleagues were strongly against this. "People will always be telling you what to do," they said. "Stay at the university where you can make your own decisions." And there were also personal reasons for not leaving Melbourne. My now wife Deirdre is with us today. In the end, though, I joined the Nucleus Tiger team, and I must say I'm very glad that I did. I was a kind of a technology transfer from Graham's team with a deep knowledge of the team's research, and I could also stay in touch with them. We built the first Nucleus device, either the cochlear system, in just 13 months, and then implanted 6 subjects in Australia. And there was a lot to learn in this time about the manufacture of an active implantable medical device. We had to establish a quality management system, we had to prepare documents, and we had to develop different test procedures. It was very, very different from being in an academic environment. Next, we started a clinical trial in America. 2 of our team were on the ground there, but I was responsible for the clinical support, and this involved travelling to the US if there was a clinical problem, and so I had several trips to sort things out. If you're interested in kind of issues that were there, you can talk to me later. But by 1985, we had more than 70 subjects implanted, and the FDA held a panel meeting of experts in the field to assess the clinical trial data. The panel recommended that our implant system be approved, and one of the panel members said at the end of the meeting that it was the best study he had ever seen. A terrific outcome. Next stop was Europe, where we obtained the CE mark, and at the same time we developed an implant that would be suitable for children. Now, I don't have time to go into any more detail of my time with Cochlear, except to say that my role was to lead the research collaborations with universities around the world. Our clinical studies were generally conducted by researchers with an interest in ear, nose and throat surgery or audiology, and we developed relationships with wonderful research partners in more than 100 different organisations. Over the years, improvements in signal processing have steadily improved speech understanding, while other research and development projects have applied evolving technology to enhance the function of both the implant and the external processor. Today, for example, you can stream audio directly from your phone to the processor, just using the latest improvements in technology. Today, most adults using cochlear implants are able to use a telephone, right? So you don't need to do the lip reading any longer. We've added all those speech features in and you can use a telephone. While children who are born deaf and implanted when they are still young can be expected to develop normal language at a normal rate and have all the opportunities of normal hearing children. This is a truly remarkable outcome. Now, the impact of the cochlear implant on the quality of lives of both the recipients and on their families and their friends is quite extraordinary. The cochlear implant is indeed a life changer, and it's been just wonderful to be a member of the team that's made this possible. We've got more than 450,000 recipients now, and when you add to all the families and so on that are involved with them, that's millions of people who've benefited from the cochlear implant that we developed and we made available globally. Cochlear moved onto the Macquarie campus, I think, in 2012, and since then the company has established, as you heard, many links and research collaborations with many of the faculties of the university, and especially those located in the Australian Hearing Hub. Macquarie is indeed today a world leader in hearing. My message to those graduating today is that while you may need to choose between academia and industry for your first job, you should be looking for opportunities for collaboration throughout your career so as to maximise the impact of groundbreaking research. Thank you all.
So there, ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments we have encapsulated for us the remarkable history of the development of a technology in this country, which has remained in this country to be exported around the world, that has helped millions of people's lives. It really is remarkable. And I think in the recount of Dr. Patrick's life and that advice at the end about collaboration can't be more pointed. I certainly come from a school of thought that believes that the greatest value in business world, in the academy, and in most parts of society is transacted at the boundaries between organisations. And that, I think, is what Dr. Patrick is speaking about in thinking about always having an eye out to where you can collaborate within your own organisation across boundaries or indeed across organisations. A terrific occasional address. Please join me in thanking Professor Jim Patrick again. As Vice-Chancellor of the University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring degrees upon those who have complied with the University's requirements for such awards. I now call upon our Registrar, Ms. Gail White, to formally certify the eligibility of those who have met all the requirements of the Academic Senate for these awards. If the Chancellor were here, he would also demand that the Registrar certify that all of your assignments were on time, that you never missed a class. Can you give me these assurances, Registrar?
Certainly, Vice-Chancellor. I am able to certify that all of the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees please stand?
Yes, that's you folks, yes. Don't be shy now. In the name of Macquarie University Council and by my authority delegated from the Governing Council as Vice-Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees for which you have qualified. Graduates, congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. Vice-Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Human Sciences, and I call upon Professor Simon Handley, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Human Sciences, to present the graduates. Professor Handley.
Vice-Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Human Sciences. The Faculty of Human Sciences hosts a unique combination of disciplines connected by the common purpose of building an understanding of what it means to be human. Our departments of educational studies, psychology, cognitive science and linguistics offer innovative and interdisciplinary teaching programs and research strengths in learning, behaviour, mind and language. We aspire to develop a deeper understanding of the human experience and deliver graduates with highly developed professional and personal skills. One of our core strengths is in psychology and cognitive sciences, a world-leading discipline in the top 100 of the recent QS Subject World Rankings, with the most employable graduates in New South Wales. We have globally leading expertise across multiple areas of research, including child development, emotional health, reading and communication, vision, action, and elite performance. The translation of our research and the experience of our students is facilitated through our on-site clinics for psychology, emotional health, and reading. Our Department of Linguistics is rated in the top 40 of all linguistics departments worldwide and undertakes research in the fields of hearing, language processing, child language acquisition, and adult language learning. Our international research standing was most recently recognised through the award of a $1 million Australian Research Council Fellowship for a project examining multicultural Australian English. The project will provide a unique benchmark for understanding Australian speech patterns for clinical, educational, and technological applications. The Department of Linguistics is engaged in teaching across 4 distinct yet interrelated disciplinary areas: applied linguistics and TESOL, translation and interpreting, clinical audiology, and speech and language pathology. Our educational programs align with our on-site clinics for speech and hearing, allowing for the integration of educational placements with research-informed clinical interventions, making a difference to people's lives. Together, our disciplines of psychology, cognitive science, and linguistics are changing the lives of individuals and communities through building a better understanding of human behaviour, enhancing communication, and improving health and well-being. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Human Sciences whom you have admitted to degrees. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce with the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology. Ryan Askey. Arushi Bacha. Anastasia Bolus. Daniel Philip Bowie. Claire Bowyer. Alexandra Marie Carbone. Hinashi Chabra. Nicholas James Graham Conway. Olivia Delanchian. Hannah Emmett Dugnan. Joshua Hayes. Min Dui Lei. Amanda Leung. Millicent Leung. Rachel Lizzie Lim. Bernadette Meany. Stefania Michael. Lena Nguyen. Krisha Parasha. Dragana Paravinya. Narika Dayani Ratwate. Nicola Caitlin Felicity Scutella. Jeevan Singh. Claudia Stein. Ricky Wing Wan. Lauren Wilkins. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Emily Grace Baker. Diana Norkutula Bondesi. Georgia Elizabeth Brown. Inika Dongre. Anne Golub. Natasha Williamson. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Speech, Hearing and Language Sciences. Bronte K. Aiken. Mardi Bessus. Hannah Claire Bennett. Brooke Boss. Alyssa Bryan. Megan Brown. Umera Butt. Alexandra Cecilia Campana. Chi Yin Sylvia Chia. Hannah Cochran. Fina Constantinides. Emma Deverell. Sirat Dillon. Morgan Driver. Christine Fernando. Dominic Paul Fong. Rebecca Fritz. Harshan Kaur Gill. Lauren Kate Gregory. Caitlin Gurman. Constance Hiones. Jessica Ann Holland. Dai Yu Tanya Huang. Saqib Islam, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Bianca Italiano. Sonali Kartika Kumar. Livia Lai. Chloe Louise Larkin. Natasha Ann Leonardo. Anna Maria Leotta. Rebecca Lee. Eileen Lim. Sally Adrienne Lustow. Rachel Jane McKinstry. Brooke Hannah McCoy. Montana Mayuchi. Yvonne Nguyen. Elisa Nicholas. Nicole Ohanessian. Gemma Marie Painter. Sanjana Rajan Babu. Layla Rizk. Danielle Marie Rowan. Sarah Allison Cerner. Chelsea Spokes. Anne Spragg. Olivia Tate. Harriet Tilbrook. Taylor Tumar. Sally Turner. Hannah Varzin. Imama Wazim. Carlia Ann Wilson. Brianna Worm-Layton. Holly Wright. Ying Ying Rayleigh Zhang. Rita Ho Wei Zhong. Vice-Chancellor, I present the Diplomate awarded the Diploma of Speech and Communication. Cassandra Evelyn Smiles. Vice-Chancellor, I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Translation and Interpreting Studies with the degree of Master of International Relations, Hui Lin Hua. Vice-Chancellor, I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Advanced Translation and Interpreting Studies, Zheching Liang. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Clinical Audiology, Rebecca Bashur. Pedram Barmani Kashkuli. Christian John Boyle. Claire Belinda Burns. Rachel Chow. Amelia Jane Dark. Brooke Elizabeth Dwyer. Alyssa Christie Dyball, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Melissa Fu. Mohammed Khalil Garibu. Stephanie Grossi. Mariam Haddad. Florence Huang. Hani Hian. Melissa Catherine Kelly. Quentina Unique Kasuma. Chelsea Lee. Esther Hyo-san Lee. Caitlin Llewellyn Logan. Amanda Lopez. Naomi Lopez. Maxine Ariel Lorgie. Marjan Morgan Mashal. Ka Pui Mok. Jessica Anna Mazinski. Charya Ronali Nanayakra. Krista Wing Yen Pan. Jordan Pereira. Benjamin Quinton. Katrina Rufagalis. Julian Shern. Sarah Milka Shimich. Naomi Britton Smith. Rung Tien. Carissa Ray Ina Vane. Luke William Volkering. Gabrielle Margaret Wardby. April Webster. Larissa Claire Williams. Yi Tai Wong. Zoe Emily Zhao. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Conference Interpreting. Yuan Lin Gao. Lin Louis. Sri Shi Yang. Wenya Zhang. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Speech and Language Pathology. Charlotte Balthusen. Ashley Bellick. Kelsey Ann Brady. Lisa Ann Chalela. Rachel Claire Curran. Mohini Isabella Dewhurst. Hannah Rose Dobson. Alana Douthwaite. Tara Jane Fitzsimmons. Claudia Forbes. Zia Elena Gallagher Beverley. Chloe Paris Jemima Garrett. Sally Hamdan. Amy Louise Hannah. Ebony Hands. Vivian Hawaii. Olivia Marie Inglis. Ashley Kate Yench. Anne Livers. Raquel Rose Lobos. Danielle Louisa McGettigan. Isabel McNeil. Rebecca Kate McNeil. Francis Morgan. Anita Poulos. Salome Aishwarya Ratnaraja. Katja Sullivan Ringbauer. Jenna Royden. Christina Shanuda. Lucienne Siddle. Nicola Lee Subel. Denise Uchan. Mabel Jung. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Translation and Interpreting Studies. Dayung Kim. Yanmong Lee. Marcella Vanega. Dongyi Wang. Lan Ting Xiao. Li Jiao. Mei Ying Zheng. Vice-Chancellor, I present the diplomate awarded the Graduate Diploma of Auslan English Interpreting, Catherine Edmonds. Vice-Chancellor, I present the diplomate awarded the Graduate Diploma of Translating and Interpreting, Noor Marie Beladi. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Research, Yulia Karchenko, for a thesis entitled The English-Only Policy in an Australian ELICOS Setting, Perspectives of English Students, Teachers and Academic Management. April Law, for a thesis entitled Foreign Language Anxiety, a study of Australian language students of Chinese. Patricia Rodriguez Moyor, for a thesis entitled Identifying Varietal Differences in Spanish Translations of The Great Gatsby. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Hongyi Bai for a thesis entitled Performing Linguistic and Cultural Authenticity, Contemporary Mongolian Wedding Ceremonies in Inner Mongolia. Dr. Timothy Andrew Beachy for a thesis entitled Communication Difficulty and Effort in Conversation. Dr. Javert Hernandez Perez for a thesis entitled Disentangling the Influence of Attention in the Auditory Efferent System during Speech Processing. Dr. Rebecca Olivia Kim for a thesis entitled Communication in Infant Diagnostic Audiology. Dr. Laura Alison Smith-Kahn for a thesis entitled Contesting Credibility in Australian Refugee Visa Decision-Making and Public Discourse. Dr. Ping Tang, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for a thesis entitled Children's Acquisition of Mandarin Tones in Context. Dr. Hannah Irving Torsch for a thesis entitled Between Pride and Shame, Linguistic Intermarriage in Australia from the Perspective of the English Dominant Partner. Vice-Chancellor, that completes this afternoon's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Human Sciences.
Vice-Chancellor, I call on Dr. Laura Smith-Kahn, who has just graduated with a Doctor of Philosophy, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Dr. Smith-Kahn.
Vice-Chancellor, members of the University, fellow graduates and guests, I would like to acknowledge the traditional and ongoing custodians of the land on which we are gathered, and also to pay my respects to their elders, both past and present. I would also like to extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are here today. So, nearing the end of my undergraduate study many years ago, I was working on a small research essay, and I was having a bit of trouble figuring out which direction it should take. It was a unit on refugee law, which I was very interested in, but I couldn't quite decide what the essay should focus on. Then, by chance, I came across some articles that looked at communication and language-related challenges in refugee visa application processes. And that was it. I was hooked. The process of preparing and writing that small essay was so engaging that I knew I just had to stay on and keep doing this type of thing. I was determined to become a researcher, and I even had an idea of what type of research I'd like to do. Following the great experience I had with that essay, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to work on a groundbreaking research project for the next 3 years, led by Professor Mary Crock at Sydney Law School. And in the process, gaining a variety of research skills, writing journal articles, presenting at the United Nations, and finally publishing a book. During that time, I also managed to fit in a Master of Applied Linguistics, and also to be admitted as a solicitor. Figuring out my next steps, I knew I'd found my dream supervisor when I met Professor Ingrid Pillar. And so as I wrapped up my work and received my offer of a place in a scholarship for a PhD at Macquarie University's Linguistics Department, I felt like I had a pretty decent chance at success. Yet the next 4 years held plenty of difficulties. They began almost immediately in the form of data collection challenges. I also faced some health-related issues that were both physically and mentally draining. Finally, about halfway into my candidature, I took on another, perhaps more than full-time role when I became a parent for the first time. And thank you, Adam, for being so patient today. These events created some potential roadblocks that challenged the way I approached my work and have made me reflect on what made the PhD still be a positive experience for me despite these challenges. He's coming up to help. I believe that the most important factor in surviving and thriving in the PhD, do you want to comment? Was having great support networks and guidance, and many of those people are here today. Professor Pillar's development of a research group for her past, present, and sometimes future PhD candidates creates structure and develops skills to help us complete our candidature successfully. The group has provided me with an opportunity to develop my leadership skills, but more importantly, has given me the chance to meet Jivia and work with some incredibly talented researchers. This is actually a reflection of what the everyday life of a young researcher with a small child is, so it's appropriate that he's here, I guess. This is Adam. Sorry. I think he was just thirsty all along. So as I was saying, the research group that Professor Pillar has established has provided me with an opportunity to meet, to develop, an opportunity to develop my leadership skills, but most importantly, has given me the chance to meet and work with some incredibly talented young researchers who have given me new ways of thinking, modelled resilience and collegiality, and enriched every day of my research journey. These include Dr. Gegentul Bayut, also known as Dr. Hangye Bai, and also Dr. Hannah Tosh, who are both graduating with me today. I'm so honoured to be graduating with you both. The many challenges, he's over it now, sorry. The many challenges that can crop up during your PhD candidate, thank you. Another member of the support network. My support network continued. The many challenges that can crop up during your PhD candidature mean that it's important to keep an open mind and to be flexible. While I was able to keep on focusing on the research questions that interested me, with the assistance of Professor Pillar and my associate supervisor, Daniel Gezelbash from Macquarie Law School, who's also here today, I adjusted my approach to overcome some of my initial issues that I had with my data collection. In the end, this led me to expand my focus and make an innovative contribution to the discipline. My parental responsibilities, as you can see, have led to a pretty large change in my lifestyle, and being flexible about the hours and location for my work, with the backing of equally flexible and open-minded supervisors and employers, and my loving and incredibly supporting parents and husband, who are here as well, mean that I could find the best new fit for me for my day-to-day research and writing, and remain productive, and ultimately to meet my deadlines. Doing a PhD is not a small undertaking. What really helped me keep going is that I was researching in an area and regarding a topic that I am truly passionate about. I love reading, writing, thinking and talking about my topic and sociolinguistics more generally. And this keeps me motivated and engaged even when things aren't going the way that I might have planned. My PhD was definitely a well-rounded journey. The various challenges and experiences I have had have encouraged me to think of the PhD, and in fact all levels of tertiary education, a little bit differently. It's quite easy to get caught up in being concerned about achievement. Yes, there are always some formal requirements for PhDs. You need to conduct research and usually produce some kind of written thesis. But your degree is not a big test, and as junior researchers, we're not expected to know it all. In fact, our time as students is about creating opportunities for us to learn how to become researchers. The ups and downs, responding to challenges, seeking support, assisting others, reading, writing, navigating bureaucracy, all these are part of our learning. When all this works well and we successfully complete our degree, we are still not all-knowing researchers. However, the experiences we have throughout the journeys that bring us here today to this graduation will hopefully mean that we emerge better equipped to walk out into the world, whether academic or otherwise, and navigate the challenges and the opportunities that await us. Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there again today, in terms of a responsorial address, we have a wonderful address, and I think if there's ever an emblem of accomplishment and dedication, my heavens, undergraduate degree, master's degree, research, admitted to solicitorship, PhD, husband, father, daughter, all of those wonderful things, I would put in a word there. The most important thing you are doing is being a mother. That wonderful little man, Adam. I think Adam deserves a great round of applause from all of us. In fact, let me just pause here before I make a couple of votes of thanks beyond Laura and just remind you what I said earlier about celebrations and children. Isn't that a wonderful example of how children add to every celebration? Having Adam come up here and be held by Mum as she made that address, I think it's terrific. And lots of other children here. Professor Patrick's granddaughter down here, the little baby I saw as I came in, I see several others. Let's give the children this, no disturbance, let's give the children a great round of applause. And I think for a wonderful speech that really reminds us all so much about the notion of passion being what keeps us going as motivation. Passion for the subject, passion for your work, passion for your dedication. I think Laura deserves another great round of applause too.
Ni
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that wonderful voice, operatic voice, belongs to Ms. Angela Brewer. And graduates, you're very lucky that Angela was here today. She sings at most of our graduations. If she's not able to be here and the Chancellor's presiding, he threatens that he will sing, and he's actually done it before. And if he's not on deck, it would be me, and you're very lucky. I think Angela deserves another great round of applause. I'd like to also have you join me in thanking our musicians on the organ, Dr. James Forsyth. And on the trumpet, Ms. Melanie McLaughlin. Now, on either side of the graduation hall, we have representatives of the Alumni Association who come along as volunteers to help make sure the proceedings work smoothly. Please join me in thanking them as well. Now, graduates, this ceremony marks a change in your relationship with Macquarie University, but is certainly not the end of your relationship with us. From today, for the rest of your lives, you are part of the bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and a part of that network, as I mentioned earlier, of over 190,000 Macquarie alumni spanning around the globe. We will keep in touch with you through the alumni office, and I hope you will come back here onto campus to attend alumni events perhaps, to undertake more study, or simply to have a wander around the beautiful park-like campus we all enjoy. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. I urge you to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry. I urge you to set ambitious goals for yourselves. I urge you to continue the hard work that has brought you to this day. I urge you also particularly to think of how you might help others along the way. You don't have to do much to make a real difference in someone else's life. And you don't have to be Einstein to change the world for a person either. Sometimes a very simple kind gesture or a kind word can mean an enormous amount to the recipient. So I urge you always to give thought to what you might do to be helpful to others along the way. I challenge you to continue to exercise sound judgment and initiative, and to always be generous, offering practical advice and wisdom to those you meet along life's journey. My hope is that as Macquarie University graduates, you will use what you have learned not only for the betterment of yourself and your own family, but also for the betterment of your communities. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. I hope also that you will always remember the people who have helped you out along the way, many of whom are here today gathered with us. So in order to acknowledge their contribution and thank them, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things for me. Firstly, I'd like all of our new graduates to please stand. Now, I would like you to place your testimonies on your seats behind you and turn around and face your family and friends and supporters and give them, in thanks, a mighty round of applause. Now, graduates, you can turn around, but don't sit down just yet. Here on the dais are representatives of our academic community who have supported you throughout your journey. Please join me in thanking them as well. Graduates, please remain standing, but do turn around and pick up your testimony before you leave the graduation hall. I wouldn't want you to leave that behind. Since soon the official party will leave the courtyard, followed by the graduates. As we do, Dr. Forsyth will play the traditional recessional music of graduation, which has been played at ceremonies just like this one for centuries. This music, with an age-old set of Latin lyrics, begins as Gaudeamus igitur, nos habebit juventutum. In translation, this timeless graduation exit song starts out as, "Therefore, let us rejoice, for we will always be young." The song speaks in a whimsical way of youth and old age at the very same time, of the brevity of life and the inevitability of death, of state and city, and indeed of happiness. Again, to the newest graduates of Macquarie University, my warmest congratulations and every best wish for your futures to be filled with success, satisfaction, and most importantly, happiness. Now might I ask everyone to please stand. Very shortly I will lead the official party out of the graduation hall to be followed by the graduates. I then invite you all to follow the procession down through the campus to the marquee for some light refreshments. In closing today's wonderful high ceremony, I say again, Gaudeamus igitur, let us therefore rejoice.